ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, verse number 37. So Sage Pipeline is answering to the question of King Nimi, where he wanted to know the Swarupa of Narayana. Narayana vidhanasya brahmana paramatmana nishtamarhata no vaktum yuyam hi brahmavittama. So in the previous two slokas we studied that the first verse, sloka 35, he described about Narayana, how he is the source of the creation through his Purusha-avatar. And in the verse number 36, he explained about Brahman, and Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti said that he is going to explain this in 4 verses. So upcoming 3 verses also are about Brahman. So in the previous verse we studied that how Brahman is not the object of Shabda. It cannot be conceived by mind, experienced by senses, and cannot be approached by Shabda, but at the same time it is understood by Arthoktam, means through the Lakshana, which he said is Nisheda Shesha, Nisheda Siddhi, by negation. And the reason for that is that Brahman does not have any qualities. Whenever we describe any object, any substance, the description is given by its qualities. That's how we describe the Swarup of anything, by its characteristics, qualities, by dharma, which are contained in it. If something is qualityless, nirguna, then what can you say about it? The only thing you can say is that you can speak in the negative sense, that it is something, not this, not that. Whenever we speak in negative, then we are hinting at something positive, because you cannot say negative unless there is a positive. If you say that somebody is beautiful, that means there are some people who are not beautiful. If you say somebody is compassionate, then that means there is also somebody who is opposite of that, who is not compassionate. So negation. So if you speak in negation, then it indicates something related to that. So that's what is said, Nisheda Siddhi. So in Nyaya they have a principle that you cannot negate something without it being there. So if something is asat, means has no existence, then you cannot negate that, because you cannot say, because negation depends on the pratyogi. Whenever you talk about abhava, then it depends on its pratyogi, counterpositive. Negation is also abhava. When you say something is not this, means there is an absence of that. So now he speaks more on that, verse number 37. Sattvam rajastamiti trivridam ekamadau sutram mahanahmiti pravadanti jivam jnana kriyartha phalarupa tayoru shaktin brahmeva bhati sadasaccha tayo param yat. So he says that it is Brahman only which is manifest, Brahma Bhati, by its Urushakti, through its Maya, in the form of Sattva, Rajas and Tama. So Maya has got 3 gunas and Trivridam Ekamadav. So in the beginning it was one, that is the Pradhana or Prakriti. Then from that became manifest Sutram. So generally in Sankhya we hear from Pradhan or Prakriti comes Mahatattva, Mahatattva, Ahankara. So here one more element is introduced. It is called Sutra. So Prakriti has got 3 gunas. So from that, in the predominance of one guna, one thing comes. When Rajas is predominant, Sutra comes. When Sattva is predominant, Mahat comes. Tamas is predominant, Ahankar comes. And then Ahankar has further 3 divisions of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And that's how this creation comes into existence. So therefore he says, Trivridam ekam adau sutram mahan ahamiti pravadanti jivam. So these are the upadhis of the jiva. So they say that it is one which becomes sutra, mahan and aham. And then jiva is the one who has the aham or asmita. Sometimes the difference between ahankara and asmita is made. So we read in Sankhya the word ahankara is used. In Yoga Sutra the word asmita is used. So asmita is the subtle form of ahankara, and sometimes it is related to Mahatattva. So just I said that before you have the sense of I, even before that there is just a sense of existence. So that is the Mahata, that is the Asmita, because Asmita also means, Asmi means just being. And then comes Ahankara, which gives you the Ahankara means from which the sense of I becomes manifest. So those three are mentioned here, Sutram, Mahan, Ahamiti, Pravadanti, Jiva. And then Jiva has got Jnana, Kriya, Arthafala, Rupa, Taya, Uru, Shakti. So then from that comes Jnana, Kriya and Arthafala, Rupa, Taya. So Jnana and Kriya, they are referring to the senses. So there is Jnana, Sattva Guna. So there are the Devatas, Manas, and Kriya, the senses, 10 of them. And from that the result comes as Sukha and Dukha, Arthaphala, Ruptaya, Uru Shakti. So this is the Uru Shakti, this is the great Shakti of Bhagavan or Brahman. So he says it is Brahman only which is manifest like that. And Sadasatcha Tayo Paramyat. And there are cause and effect relationship between these things. So Sat is the cause, Asat is the effect. Sat also sometimes is said to be the effect. If you take it as gross, Asat as subtle, that is cause. Cause is subtle, effect is gross. And then he is Tayoho Paramyat. So that which is beyond both, that is Brahman. So Anadimat Param Brahma, Sat Yat Satta Samna Shate. So this Brahman is beyond Sat and Sat. And then the commentary by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti. Tasya brahmanastata padarthasya paroksha anubhavo no sarvasya kintu suddhatvam padarthasya jivasya aparoksha anubhava anantaram eva iti atah suddha jivam. No, not that, this is the next one. Kincha brahmana swarupa anubhava eva loke duskaras tasya pramanya tu nasti kopi sansayo yato brahmevedam sarvam iti yasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati iti shruti uktam vastu matrameva sarvam brahma karyatvat brahmeva iti yatta deva vivranoti sattvam iti. So he says that it is difficult to have the experience of Brahman. Brahmana swarup anubhava eva lokai duskara. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that avyakta hirgatir dukkham, that to have experience of avyakta, this is dehavadbhiravapyate. It's difficult because what to do about it, how you cannot meditate, there is nothing, you have to just say no. So he says Brahmana swarup anubhava eva lokai duskara. He said it is difficult, he is not saying that it is impossible. Tasya pramanya tu nasti kopi sansaya. But there is no doubt about its pramanya, means there is no doubt about its existence. It's not that there is no Brahman. Brahman exists, and there is a praman for that in the Shastra, Shastriyonitvat, such as Yato Brahmaya Vidam Sarvam. So, all this is Brahman, Janvadashayata, and Yasya Bhasa Sarvam Vidam Vibhati. So, all this manifest world comes from Brahman only. Vastu matrameva sarvam brahma karyatvat. So everything that has existence, it is a karya, the effect of Brahman. And therefore it is Brahman, because this is the philosophy of Satkaryavad. So Satkaryavad says that everything has Satta. So karya has Satta in the cause, and then the cause becomes manifest as the effect. So it also exists. So therefore it says Brahma Karyatvat Brahmeveti. This world, because it is the effect of Brahman, therefore it is Brahman. So this is how it has to be understood, because yesterday somebody was asking the question that how is this, that all this is Brahman, and then we say Brahman is beyond. So it is Brahman as an effect. An effect is not different from the cause. It is not absolutely one, but it is also not, does not have a prathak satta, does not have an independent existence. So that does not mean that it does not have existence. That also does not mean that karya is absolutely same as karana. So that's where we see the difference and non-difference. Bheda na bheda. So it says sarvam brahma karyatvat brahmeviti yat tadeva vivrinoti. So that's what he is describing here. He is describing the manifest world, which is an effect of Brahma. As the sloka also said that Brahmaiva bhati sadasachan. All this cause and effect is Brahman only, but he is beyond that. So yadekam prasiddham Brahma tadeva adau maya shakti rupam Sattvam rajastama iti trivrit pradhanam vadanti. So that which is well known Brahman, in the beginning it was only in the form of its Maya Shakti. So all the Brahman is supposed to be Nishaktik, means Shakti is not manifest. So Maya Shakti Rupam, so that is Pradhana, and has got three strands in it, Sattva, Rajas and Tama. Sattva, Rajas, Tama iti trivrit. Tatah Kriya Shakti Rupam Sutram. Then from this Pradhana comes Sutra, like a thread. So that is the Kriya Shakti Rupa. And Kriya Shakti comes from Rajas. So therefore it is also manifestation of Rajas. And Gyan Shakti Rupam Mahaniti. Then the next one is in the form of cognitive potency. That is the Mahan Mahat Tattva. Tadeva Vadanti. So they say that Tata Ahamiti Jivam Jivopadi Ahankaram Cha. And then from Mahan comes the Aham. So Aham means Ahankara. And that Ahankara is the Upadhi of the Jiva. So therefore he said that Vadanti, Pravadanti Jivam, they call him Jiva. So what is Jiva? Jiva means when pure Atma is identifying with the Ahankara. That's what Jiva is. Because you identify with the body, but if body is not there, subtle body is there, still it is Jiva. So it is identifying with the Ahankara. So Jiva or Atma has got its own Aham Bhav. And then it identifies with the Ahankara, which is a product of Prakriti or Maya Shakti of Brahman. And that is the knot, Granthi. So therefore he is calling that as Jiva. Jiva means Ahankara. So Jiva Upadhim Ahankaram cha Tadeva Pravadanti. So that itself is called Jiva. Tatasya Jnana Kriya Arth Phalruptaya. And then becomes manifest in the form of Jnana Kriya Arth Phalruptaya. So he explains Jnana Shabdena Devataha. So the word Jnana refers to the Devatas. So there are Devatas which come from the Ahankara in Sattva. And Kriya in the Indriyani. The word Kriya refers to the 10 senses which come from the Rajas. Artha Vishaya. And Artha refers to the Vishaya which come from the Ahankara in Tamas. Only Panch Tanmatra and the Panch Mahabhutas. And this combination of this results in Sukha and Dukha. So that is the Phala. So Phalam Sukhadi, by Adi Dukha also, they go together. Tadruptaya, so it is in this form that the Uru Shakti of Brahman is manifest. Urvaha Shaktiyo Adhibhut Adhyatma Adhidev Sangyayata. So it has Uru means great, Uru means here many. So it has many Shakti. Primarily he is saying 3. Adhibhut, Adhyatma, Adhideva. Because there are 3 divisions of the Devatas, Adhidevik, Indriyas, Adhyatma and Adhibhut Panchamahabhutas. So this is how you can see them. So Adhibhut Adhyatma Adhidev Sangyam Yatastat Brahmeva Vadanti. So this is Brahman. Tadeva Sat Sthulam Karyam Asat Sukshmam Karnam Tat Sarvam Brahmeva Bhati. And that Brahman itself is in the form of Sat and Asat. Sat means gross, which means the effect. Asat means subtle, which means the cause. So all these cause and effect relations, it's all manifestation of Brahman. Kutaha yada yasmat tayo sadasatoh param karanam. And Brahman is beyond both Sad and Asat because he is the cause of all that. So he is the cause of causes, as Brahma Samhita says, Sarva Karana Karanam. So therefore the word Param here means cause. Yatah Param or Tayoho Param, beyond or the cause. So Param means beyond, Param also means cause because cause is beyond. Cause is always before the effect. Niyat Purvartitvam Karanatvam. So he says that is the Karana. Ataiva tatparam brahma sarvam vibhajate jagat mameva tad ghanam tejo gyatum arhasi bharata iti Harivans Vakyam. And therefore this is the statement from Harivans Purana by Krishna. Tatparam paramam brahma sarvam vibhajate jagat. He says that is the supreme Brahman by which the whole universe becomes manifest. And Mamayeva tad ghanam tejo gyatum arhasi bharata. So Krishna was speaking this to Arjuna. So he says, Arjuna, you should know that this effulgence is my bodily effulgence. So therefore it is called Brahma Jyoti. So Brahma Jyoti means what? Brahma eva Jyoti. It is not Jyoti of Brahma. Like if you call Surya Jyoti, means the light of sun. When we say Brahma Jyoti, it is not that Brahma is separate, Jyoti is separate. Brahma itself is Jyoti, that is the Jyoti of Krishna. So therefore it says Mama eva tad ghanam teja gyatum arhasi bharata tasya cha ayam artha. So the meaning of this sloka he gives himself. Tatparam sarvasmat param. So tatparam means beyond everything. Or you can say the cause of everything. Param also, as above he gave cause. Sarvasmat param yat paramam brahman. So beyond everything is the supreme Brahman. Sarvam jagat vibhajate swateva mahadadi rupena vibhaktam karoti. So he manifests in the various forms of this jagat, mahat, etc. Tat mameva tejo gyatum arhasi. So know that it is my effulgence. Brahmano hi pratishtham iti Bhagavad Ukta. In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that Brahmano hi pratistham. So pratishtha means shelter, foundation. So because it is his Jyoti, so it is rooted in him. That is the meaning of pratishtha. Advaitavadis give the meaning of pratishtha as pratima. So Suryasya ghanam tejaiva. So he said just like sun, and then sun has its effulgence. So like that there is Krishna, and he has his effulgence, which is Brahman. So it is non-different from him. Itivat tasya vapus teja eva. So therefore his bodily effulgence is Brahman. Brahma iti abhyupgantavyam. This is to be understood. Ateva yasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. So therefore in the Upanishad it is said that it is by his effulgence that all this is illuminated. So it is by his effulgence means Krishna's effulgence, which is Brahman, and then Brahman pervades everything. Iti srutau yasya krishnasya iti vyachakshate. So yasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. He says, what does yasya here means? So yasya means of Krishna. It is sixth case. So it refers to him. So that is this verse, number 37. If there is any question on this.
Babaji, this last line what we studied, iti Bhagavad Ukte Suryasya Ghanam Teja, Suryasya Ghanam Teja itivat tasya vapu tejeva Brahma iti ubhya upgantavyam.
Abhyupgantavyam.
Yes, so you discussed that when we say the light Surya Jyoti, it means the Jyoti of the Surya, the light of the sun. And when we say Brahma Jyoti, so we say Brahma eva Jyoti. Brahm itself is the Jyoti.
But Brahma does not have a body.
Yeah, but when he's explaining here, he's saying that Suryasya Ghanam Teja. जिस प्रकार सूर्य का घन तेज है, उसी प्रकार उनका तस्य वपु तेज एव, मतलब तस्य इज फॉर कृष्ण.
सूर्य, yeah, Krishna. Tasya vapu तेज.
So he is using vapu and not vapo, the sixth case. So उनका
समास कर दो ना यार. कृष्णस्य तेजा, कृष्ण तेजा.
नहीं, यहाँ पे ये नहीं कह रहे कि उनका वपु ही तेज है, उनका शरीर अपने आप में ही तेज है.
षष्ठी तत्पुरुष समास. वपुष शब्द है ना, वपुष.
Okay. And Babaji, one more question. In the fourth line, when it comes Gyan Shabdena Devta, so which Devta is he referring to?
Devatas of the senses. Every sense has got one devata.
जो इंद्रियों के देवता हैं वो सब, ठीक है, जिनको हम आदि आदि आदिदेव कहते हैं, आदिदेव बोलते हैं.
तो भी तो बोला ना कि तीन विभाग हैं उनके. अधिदेव, अध्यात्म. अध्यात्म इज द इंद्रिय, सेंसेस. अधिदेवता द देवतास. अधिभूत आर द पंचमहाभूतास. पुरुषोत्तम प्रभु. कहाँ गायब हो गए? गायब हो गए?
क्रियाशक्ति. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Kriyasakti is Sutra and then Jnana Shakti is Mahan. This Mahan is a tamas gun here or is a sattva gun there basically?
ज्ञान शक्ति सत्व.
Jnana Shakti is sattva. So what is a
सत्वम ज्ञानम रजः क्रिया तमो ज्ञानम उच्यते. सत्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम.
Yes, no, that's. But then what is the third then? Because sattva and rajas is already mentioned here. Where is the tamas then? Tamas is what?
अहंकार.
It is,
अहंकार.
okay, so ahankar comes from tamas, so that's where tamas is mentioned. Okay.
या सूत्र महतत्व and अहंकार. Three.
Sutra, Mahatattva and Ahankar. Okay.
तन्मय.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm a little puzzled by this last paragraph, so maybe you can explain this. So it says, Tat Param is in the verse, last line, Tat Param. I thought that would refer to Brahma, but here he says, Sarvasmat Param Yat Paramam Brahma, which would be Bhagavan. Sarvam Jagat Vibhajate. So he divides the world, I guess, into all these Mahat, Sutra and everything else. That would be Bhagavan, not Brahma, because Brahma is Shakti-less. Swata eva mahadadi rupena vibhaktam karoti. So that which separates in this form of Mahad, etc. Tan mama eva tejo. That is my tejo, which would be the Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. So now I'm confused. How
No.
Nirakar Brahma do any vibhaktam karoti?
See, what is being described here is that there are different ways. This is what you see. And unless you understand that there is only one tattva, then you cannot find a harmony. This ekvakyata will be difficult. So here what is being described is that Brahman is the cause of everything. Why this description? Because in the Upanishad there are many statements. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Athato Brahma jigyasa. Janmadasya. So now here in Harivansh Purana also. Tata param paramam Brahma. So beyond that means beyond everything. That means before that, when Krishna went with Arjuna, how did they go? It is described there that they went and then they went, Krishna called his chariot and they went through that. So they crossed all the layers of the Brahmanda. Then the effulgence came. Then came Mahavishnu. So therefore it says Tata Param, before that was the world. That's what he is describing. Sarvasmat Param Yat Paramam Brahma. So now he is describing this Paramam Brahman as the cause. And that is his effulgence. That's what he was saying, that this effulgence which you saw, where their eyes were blinded completely. So that he says, that is my bodily effulgence. And it is from that everything is coming. Just like among the lokas also, how you described that there are all the planetary system, Brahmaloka, then the coverings, then comes Vraja river, then comes Siddhaloka. So that Siddhaloka is the beginning of the spiritual planets, but before that is the Brahman. That's why it is described that those who get killed by Bhagwan, they go there. So, Daityacha Harinahata. Those Daityas which are killed by Hari, they go to the Siddhaloka, which is basically the effulgence. That is the Brahman. And then beyond that are the Vakunthas. So this is what is being described here. So then there is no confusion. Yes.
It is not clear to me what is this sutra and the function of it.
Is it clear to you what is Mahatattva? Just because you heard the Mahatattva so many times, so you have no problem with that. But sutra you are hearing new, so you think it's a problem. So now just think the way you understand Mahatattva, have the same understanding for sutra.
Just include it somewhere.
No, it is very clear. Prakriti has 3 gunas. Okay. So when it is in balance, all the gunas are in complete balance, then no creation happens. Creation never happens when everything is in balance. Right? If you are completely happy, you don't want to do anything. You have no desire in your mind. So whenever you have to do something, first the desire has to come. Desire means some imbalance. Right? Ashahi paramam dukkham, nairasyam paramam sukham. Why is it said that nairasyam paramam sukham? Because if there is no asha, then you just sit quietly, relax. So all creation happens in imbalance. Some imbalance has to be there to create. Even male, female produce children because there is an imbalance. So then production happens. If everything is balanced, nothing will come out. Also male prakriti and female prakriti, they are different. They are imbalanced. If they are all are male or all are female, there will be nothing. So therefore those 3 things, when they get imbalanced, now imbalance again is not going to be balanced. That means one is more, other is less. Something can be equal to the other or less. So when rajas is more, then sutra comes. So why sutra comes first? Because for anything to happen, there has to be action. So therefore sutra comes first. Then you also need little knowledge. So then comes Mahatattva. Because without knowledge, what will you do? And then you need little balance, so tamas comes. And tamas says, I am this. That is the ignorance. That I am this body, I am the mind, I am this. Then once you have that ahankara, then you want to enjoy, which is said comes sukha dukkha. So for that you need mind, which will have desire. To fulfill the desire you need the senses. And you need the ground for the senses. So that's all is this creation. Sandeep ji.
Pranam Babaji Maharaj. So actually, we read earlier, like in Bhāgavatam, otherwise, that Krishna looks at Prakriti and then this creation, then these gunas come in the Prakriti, and then the creation starts. The gunas get imbalanced with his look. But here it is said from Brahman, these Maya Shakti, these three gunas are. So, how to correlate these two things? Because Brahman is also Krishna, and there it is said that Krishna looks. So, मतलब अब यहाँ ये Brahman is like his seeing.
No, Brahman is not seeing, but just the different way of describing it. One is you can say that I did it, then you can say my energy did it. But is there any difference? Energy does not look, I look, but how do I look? I look through my energy. So Brahman is also energy of Krishna. It is also his Shakti. It is sometimes called his Amsa, sometimes called his Shakti, sometimes called his effulgence. Different words used. And then we say it is non-different because Shakti, Shaktiman, they are non-different. And Shakti does not have Shakti. Qualities do not have qualities. So Brahman is his Shakti and it doesn't have quality further. So we have to understand that there are people who are devoted to Brahman. The word Brahman makes them so happy, just as you feel happy by hearing the word Krishna. So Shastra is like Kalpataru. It also gives them happiness. So then descriptions are like Brahman. So when they read Shastra, for them everything will look like Brahman, everything coming from Brahman. Krishna is also under Brahman. So they will have their view. We have another understanding. We say our understanding is better than their understanding. They say their understanding is better than our understanding. We are happy, they are also happy. And Shastra is happy, keeping both happy.
They also bifurcate between Sagun and Nirgun Brahman. So here they are talking about Nirgun Brahman, from where this Maya Shakti creates.
No, now you are talking about them or us?
No, their point of view that Sagun, Nirgun Brahman.
Yeah, Sagun Brahman is Krishna. Nirgun Brahman is Brahman. In their way, Krishna is Sagun Brahma.
Right. But here, whatever is spoken is from Nirgun Brahman.
Yeah. Because you have a guna, you are a human being and you have some quality. That quality is qualityless. Sweet is not sweet. Sweet, sugar has sweetness in it. But sweetness is not sweet. It is sugar which is sweet, not sweetness. Salt has saltiness in it, but saltiness is not salty. So once you understand this, then there is not a problem. Yeah, gune gunanangikarat. That is the principle.
But guna has no guna.
How can guna have guna? If guna have guna, it will become dravya. बाप का बेटा है, बेटा को बाप बना दोगे तुम तो फिर क्या होगा? Father has son, but son does not have father. I mean, son is not father. Father has son, son does not have a son. If son will have a son, son will become father. Right? Then he is no more son. So Therefore, qualities do not have qualities. It's very simple. It's not difficult to understand. Rods.
Pranam Babaji. So I had a question, it's kind of on a similar theme as some of the questions that have already been asked, but I had a question on the difference in meaning between two sentences. So if we let sentence 1 be Brahman pervades everything, and then we let sentence 2 be Paramatma pervades everything.
Both
do
are
these
true.
Mean exactly the same thing?
Yeah, both are
okay,
true.
they're both true. They're both
Yeah.
true.
And
but
both
what about
are,
their meaning? Do they have the same meaning or very slightly different meaning? Or that's what my question.
both. They can have same meaning also, and they can have a slightly different meaning also. It depends who wants to give the meaning.
Okay.
It's just a different way of looking. If you look Himalayas from India's side, it will look one way. If you see Himalayas from the China's side, it will look completely different. Is it same or is it different?
I'm actually not sure. So it's the same. It's the same substance. The same. I think Dravya is appropriate. It's the same. Dravya.
Okay.
But what if I say-
Forget about Himalaya. Somebody sees you from the front side, another person sees you from the back side. Do they say the same thing?
Yes, they're definitely seeing the same thing. But what if they say that person is tall? Does that have the same meaning? It has the same truth condition, but does it have the same meaning? I don't know.
So therefore it depends. It depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mohini.
You explained the word Brahma Jyoti, that the meaning is Brahma Eva Jyoti and not Jyoti of Brahma. So can you explain a bit more? Because to me both seems real, because Brahma is also the Jyoti of Krishna, and it is also at the same time the Advaya. It is also only one tattva, so why not both is real? That the Brahma Eva Jyoti, and it is also Jyoti of Brahma.
So this is, I said the whole Mahabharata. Then you're asking who is Draupadi. I just said that qualities do not have quality. And then you are saying that why Brahman cannot have Jyoti. So that means then Brahman is Krishna. If Brahman is Jyoti of Krishna, and then you say that no, it is Jyoti of Brahman, then what does it mean? Now you're using the word Brahman for Krishna. That's all you're doing. Otherwise, how Brahman will have Jyoti?
Yeah, okay. I understood, yeah.
Okay, Krishna Karan.
Bhāgavatam Swamiji. I think yesterday you mentioned that Brahman and Narayan are the fourth state, beyond the three other states, so they are the fourth state of Turiya. But in the Gopal Upanishad, it states that Gopal himself is beyond the fourth state, Gopala Turyatita. So my question is, what does beyond the fourth state, as per that Shruti statement, mean compared to Narayan or Brahman being the fourth state?
I don't know what you are saying. You are saying Narayan is fourth state or Brahman is fourth state?
So Brahman, so in the Bhagavatam, my understanding is that both Brahman or Narayan sometimes used interchangeably. They are the fourth state of Turiya.
So then Krishna is the source of them, and therefore he is the fifth state. What is the problem? That's what we are discussing. That's why we just said Krishna is saying Brahmano hi pratistham.
Okay.
So I am the pratishtha, I am the foundation of Brahman. So Brahman is the fourth, then Krishna becomes the fifth. He becomes Turyatita.
Okay, thank you.
So let's read the next verse. Also explains about the Jiva. He says, Natma jajanana marishyati naidhate smai nakshiyate samanvyat vabhicharinam hi sarvatra sabdanapayu upalabdhi matram prano yathendriya balena vikalpitam sat. So he says that Atma na jajana na marishyati, did not take birth, it will not die, it does not increase, neither tesav, nakshiyate, it does not diminish, savanvit vyavicharanam, it is the witness of everything. Savanvit means witness. Witness of what? Things which are changing. Vyavicharanam. And sarvatra sasvad anupayi upalabdhi matram. And it is upalabdhi matram, means it is pure consciousness. It is everywhere. It is anapayi, never can be removed or destroyed. Prano yathendriya balena vikalpitam sat. To give an example, he gives the example of the prana. So life here, generally when we are existing here in the material world and we transmigrate from one body to another, so it happens through the prana. That's why I say that he is left, prana is gone, prana pakheru ud gaye. So his body has become nisprana. So prana is life, it's called life here. So just as prana is moving from one body to another, prana does not change. Like that, Atma is unchanging. Example of prana is given to make us understand the unchanging nature of Atma. So tasya brahmana tatpadarthasya aproksha anubhavo na sarvasya kintu suddhatam padarthasya jivasya aproksha anubhava antaram eva. So he says that if you want to have the experience of Brahman, which is called Tat Padartha. So Tat Padartha and Tvam Padartha, these are technical words in Vedanta. Tvam Padartha is used for the Atma. Tat Padartha is used for Brahman. And that's how you have the famous Tat Tvam Asi. So he says that if you want to have an experience of Tat Padartha, what does Tat Padartha actually means? It means that which is meant by the word Tat. Tat is a pada and Tvam is a pada. Pada means word. And that word has got its artha. That is called Padartha. So to have that, because we don't have experience of the word, you hear, but what is the meaning indicated or given by that word, that's what we want to know. So he says that to have an experience of Tat Padartha, you have to have first experience of Tvam Padartha. You cannot have experience of Tat Padartha without having the experience of Tvam Padartha. And therefore, sage Pipalina now in this verse explains you Tvam Padartha. That what is Tvam Padartha? So that you can have understanding of Tvam Padartha. By having the understanding of Tvam Padartha, then you will have the understanding of Tat Padartha. So this is also called sometimes as Shakha Chandra Nyaya. Shakha Chandra Nyaya means to point to the moon by first pointing to the branch of a tree. So moon is up in the sky, and there's a big tree, and it is beyond that. So first you point to the branch, that look at this branch, and now see beyond that. That is the moon. So similarly, first you understand Tvam, and then once you have an idea of Tvam, then you can have an idea of Tat. So this is what he's saying. So he said, Shuddhatvam padarthasya jivasya aparoksha anubhavanantaram. And he's talking about aparoksha anubhava, means direct experience, realization, not paroksha. Knowledge is of two types, paroksha gyan, aparoksha gyan. Paroksha gyan is when we have, like by hearing shabda, or we make inference. If you see smoke, and from the smoke you make an inference of fire, because you know that wherever there is smoke, there is fire. So you see smoke coming out from the top of a house or from a room where you live. So you say, oh, there's a fire in the room, because you see the smoke. So you have not seen the fire, you see the smoke, and from the smoke you make an inference of the fire. Then you get the knowledge of the fire. But that knowledge is paroksha gyan, because you have not have the direct experience of it. It is not aparoksha. In Vedantic language, they call it avarana, asatvapadak and abhanapadak. So they say that the Maya has covered the objects. So there is an avarana. And this avarana is of two types. One is about the existence, that this thing exists. Another is the experience of it. So when you make an inference of fire from the smoke, so you only know there is a fire. So there is satta, existence, but not the bhan, not the experience. So only that avarana has been removed. That okay, fire is there, but what type of fire, small fire, big fire, wood fire, electric fire, that you don't know. Any kind of fire can create smoke. So therefore there is a asatvapadak and abhanapadak. But when you see, then you know both, that it is there and you know what it is. You actually see the fire. So here he says that you have to have aparoksha anubhav. We know there is Atma, that we have understood. But we don't have the aparoksha anubhava, we only have paroksha. So aparoksha anubhuti is required. So first you have to have aparoksha anubhuti of that Atma, and then only you will have the aparoksha anubhava of Brahman. Not straight away. That's why I said that it is duskara. Sarupa anubhava sarva eva loke duskara. Remember in the first verse he said that. So tasya brahmanas tat padarthasya aparoksha anubhavo na sarvasya. So he says that everybody does not have experience of the Brahman, aparoksha anubhava. Kintu suddhatvam padarthasya jivasya aparoksha anubhavanantarameva. Only after having the aparoksha anubhava of the pure Atma. Shuddha jiva maha natma iti trivi. So therefore here in this verse, the Shuddha jiva, which means the Atma, is being explained. That what is the pure Atma, that is being described here. So we'll stop here, time up. Read the commentary tomorrow, Bhushan.
Babaji Pranam, so in the Paramatma Sandarbha it was described that Atma is Harir dasa it has this, it is integrated part of Paramatma, and therefore it is not possible to realize the Atma without realizing Paramatma first. It's like how could one realize the Atma without Bhagavan, without sense of God realization or understanding Bhagavan, because Atma is part of that. So in that case, the Tat has to be understood first, in this case Bhagavan, and then the Tvam, right? That's what my understanding from Paramatma Sandarbha was, but this seems to be the opposite.
Very interesting. So because he is talking about not Paramatma, but by Brahman. There the understanding is different, here the understanding is different.
Okay.
So there the understanding is that Atma is part of Paramatma. So if Atma is part of Paramatma, then you cannot understand Atma without knowing Paramatma. But here it is different. Here he is talking about Brahman, which doesn't have anything, which says Nisheda Shesha, Nisheda Siddhi. So how to get clue about that? So you have to start from this end.
Babaji, if I may ask a follow-up, in the Bhagavad Gita thing that Sri Krishna says, only by surrendering to me that you can cross over the three modes. Without crossing the three modes, how one can realize the Atma? So that's what, like my understanding was, without bhakti, Brahman is not possible, because it's just, so like just having Brahman and realizing Atma, now it is...
Without bhakti, nothing is possible. Even Atma is not possible. But since the question was raised, so he is first giving an idea. Because how do you understand Brahman? As we are saying that in case of Paramatma, you can say Paramatma has 4 hands, he is holding a club in one hand, chakra in another hand. What can you say about Brahman? So therefore you get an idea about Tvam Padartha, then you will get an idea about Tat Padartha. That's what he's saying. So approach is different because we're trying to understand a different aspect of Tattva. Okay.
Thank you.
So Babaji, can we understand this statement when it is mentioned here that for the Aparoksh Anubhav of Brahman, first Aparoksh Anubhav of Jiva is required, or Atma. So here the approach of the Jnani is being discussed as the Jnani's approach, and in Paramatma Sandarbha he is explaining in the terms of the way Bhakta's approach. Can we understand it like this? I mean predominantly, though there is some ansh of Jnana and Bhakti.
No, there he is talking about Paramatma, in Paramatma Sandarbha, here he is talking about Brahman. Whether it is Jnani or Bhakta, that is not the point. The point is that if you want to understand Brahman, what can you say? This is what we are saying. In the previous verse he said that Nisheda Siddhi. It's only by negation. But now to have a positive idea, you get an idea about yourself. So what is Jiva? This is again, there is a problem. People think that Jiva has got, Atma has got everything in it. It has got Swarupa, it has got Prema, it has got this. It is nothing. He says, the verse itself says Uplabdhi Matram. It is saying, he will explain it. It's only pure awareness. So once you get an idea that, okay, Jiva is pure awareness, now you can think of Brahman as complete awareness. That's all.
But Babaji here is not talking about the idea only, he is talking about the Aparoksha Anubhav, which means realization.
Are Baba, if you have Paroksha, then only you will go to Aparoksha. If you don't have Paroksha also, how you will have Aparoksha? So now you have this first Paroksha, it means you have Shabdik Gyan. Shabd Brahmani Nishnata Param Brahma Digachati. Then when you have the understanding of Shabd Brahma, now you do your sadhana. There you have experience like that. But what can you say about that? But the experience will be this.
So what is the use of this first statement, that first you get the aparoksh anubhav of Jiva and then after that aparoksh anubhav of Brahman? What is the use of this statement in the life of a person who is pursuing spiritual life, whether it is anyone?
That's what I'm saying, that if you do not understand Jiva, you cannot understand Brahman. And if you don't even understand what anubhav you will have, how do you have anubhav of anything? You want to have experience of bhakti. First you hear about bhakti or you immediately have experience of it. Shravanam, srotavya, mantavya, nididhyasitavya, then drashtavya. So first you hear about anything, it's our normal life also. You hear, you have paroksh jnana. Then you have anubhav. So this is the meaning. When we are having this understanding, then you have to do sadhana. It is not that just by reading you are going to get it. Then you do your practice, whatever practice you are doing, whichever path, then you will have experience with that. What else is the purpose? क्या परेशानी क्या है?
सिर्फ स्टेटमेंट से तो कुछ नहीं थी. जब उन्होंने परमात्मा संदर्भ का कोट किया कि पहले परमात्मा को जानो फिर जीव को जान सकते हैं.
जीव को जानो कहने, he is not saying that you are going to get Paramatma directly. He says you cannot have proper realization of Atma without knowing Paramatma. That's what he's saying. Why? Because Atma is an amsa of Paramatma. This table has one leg. You cannot know the leg properly unless you know the whole thing, because it's part of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Even if you know this is leg, you have to know leg of what? Table. So if I have actually a realization of Atma, I have to know that it is part of Paramatma.
Okay.
So now you are saying that, okay, that means you have to have realization of Paramatma, then Atma, then Brahman. That's what your problem is. From that. No, that may be for those people who want to realize Paramatma, but if you don't want, then they will see, those who are Jnanis, they see Atma as Brahman only. They don't go to that level. That's what Brahma-Jnanis think. The whole idea of Brahmavad is that Atma and Brahman are one. Tattvamasi. But if you go Bhagavat way and you want to have Brahma Sakshatkar, the Brahma Sakshatkar of Bhakta and Brahma Sakshatkar of Jnana is not same. So that is the Paramatma Sandarbha, what is saying.